Hey guys, everyone loves diving into a new game, don't they? That sense of booting it up and diving into a new world with all sorts of new characters and atmospheres and just places to go. Sometimes though, you just run into that extra special gem that's just so immersive that it almost makes you feel like you're there. Whether it's just the beauty and the landscape or the characters or just the sheer dread of what may be around the next corner, keeping you right on the edge of your seat. Here are 10 games that do just that and make you feel like you're in a totally different world. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and enjoy. Number 10, No Man's Sky. Regardless of how you feel about the game, one thing you have to admit is that Hello Games did an amazing job bringing us a procedurally generated universe. Not world, but universe. I think we all at one point or another got sucked into the sheer scope of what's in this game, with its numerous worlds and species, the plant life, everything is just a sight to behold. Add on top of that the ability to make settlements and grow crops, and you start feeling like a real space colonist, losing yourself in the hardships and joys of taming an unknown planet. If that's not your thing, go out and explore the known galaxy as a lone explorer, cataloging as many species as you can. You can even start to fancy yourself a space pirate of sorts, picking fights with various different ships and dealing with the consequences. It's easy to see how you could lose hours and hours exploring the cosmos. Number 9, The Outer Worlds. I'll admit, I had a hard time for years understanding what people adored about the Fallout games, until I played this one. Everything about this game pulls you in and makes you want to stay up just that little bit longer to see what kind of crazy adventures in store just around the corner. Top that off with a handful of vastly different planets, each with citizens having their own struggles carving out their lives in the Halcyon universe, and you have a recipe for something truly special. The writing and characters in this game are top notch, drawing you in with stories and missions that sometimes leave you with some of the most difficult choices I've made in a game in years, as you try to decide what your character would do, what's best for all parties involved, or if you're the type that would just cause the most destruction. Again, it's another one of those games that leaves it up to you to decide what kind of impact you want to have in this universe you are awakened into, and the weight of that responsibility is felt in any number of choices you make over the length of its 30 to 40 hour space opera of a game. I, for one, can't wait to dive back in when the DLC hits. Number 8, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Rarely do I sing the praises of an Assassin's Creed game. I've often felt they just get in their own way. From pulling you out of the amorous to have meaningless conversations with someone in the office to, making you play a traditional Assassin's Creed game. By that I mean following people through hostile environments while not being seen, or running someone down in town, only to realize you're just keeping close enough to a point where the whole thing ends in a cutscene. It's just not my bag. One of these that broke the mold though to an extent was Black Flag. The idea that you could not only run your own pirate ship but have your own pirate code was just too compelling to pass up. I dove in happily sailing around constantly, raiding and pillaging to my heart's content, and loving every minute of building up my pirate base and securing new strongholds. If they just let me keep doing that instead of pulling me back into the mechanics of an Assassin's Creed game, it really would have been much, much higher on my list. But I'll never forget the time I spent becoming a pirate captain assassin. Good times. Good times. Number 7, Doom 3. You rarely look to Doom franchise for atmosphere. Generally, you want one thing: high-octane, blood-pumping action with an arsenal that can lay waste to a planet. All backed by a heart-thumping metal soundtrack. Doom 3 was not that, and yet it was, in part. Often the black sheep of the franchise, Doom 3 took a different approach, one that was more paced, one in which you were truly alone, with nothing but bloody remains and questions. The fact that they originally only let you use a flashlight or your weapon at any given time also gave you pause. Do you use your flashlight to explore the room and see your opponent, or do you just rely on feel and sounds of your enemies make in the dark as they hunt you? Top that all off with audio logs of all the strange happenings, experiments, and other events going on in the station, and you start to feel fear and dread sink into you. Each turn brings another grisly scene or tale that is played to you while you explore the dark halls of Mars Outpost, pulling you into an almost palpable sense of hopelessness of it all until it's punctuated by a frantic gunfight from some ambush the demons set for you. This was a hard game for me to play for long periods when I was younger. The pressure of the dark, oppressive atmosphere wore away at me, and fear of being ambushed by countless demons at any point made me jumpy for hours after I put the game down sometimes. I'd startle myself, swearing I saw an imp in the shadows long after a session. This is one to think twice about playing while you're alone in the dark for sure. Number 6. Alien Isolation. Most games have you being the hunter, a powerful protagonist, capable, trained, ready for anything. And then there's Alien Isolation. Harkening back to the original Alien game, you play as Amanda Ripley, daughter of Ellen Ripley, out to investigate what happened to her mother, only to find that the ship she was on is out of control due to a single alien on board. This is a game of evasion and stealth, where every step you take fills you with nervous dread and anticipation of the alien finding you. The alien in the game is an unstoppable force of nature that you can fend it off, but you can never kill it. It is the apex hunter here, not you. You will have to outsmart and outmaneuver this creature to survive, which is easier said than done because the alien doesn't just move in patterns. It can investigate disturbances such as odd noises and even your motion tracker. You'll have to use your wits to survive, keeping you laser focused on what you're doing. I can't think of a more effective way to immerse someone in a game more terrifying one. Number 5. Subnautica. Tons of games have you running along land or exploring space, but not many have you exploring the sea, especially not a sea on an entirely different planet. That's Subnautica. It's a beautiful world, full of wonders and terrors. This game has it all. Atmosphere-wise, it's a completely exotic location with beautiful set pieces and tons of deadly predators that you had best avoid, since the only weapon you're given is a knife in the beginning. Later on, you get a few more personal items to be able to help you to deal with the dangers, but you never get to the point that you want to confront most of the apex predators in this game. What starts out as a world full of beauty and wonder becomes one of oppression and terror as you go deeper and deeper into the planet, eventually making your way to the core of the world. From the shallows to the luminescent biomes, into the Lost River, and finally down to the molten core, it becomes a surreal experience seeing all the strange and wondrous areas. If the pacing and story had been more on point, this easily could have been number 1 on my list. Number 4. Dishonored. I love this game. The entire setting, from the pedestrians walking the streets to the abusive guards, even the city itself, the very city in this game feels like a character. It just has so much personality. Stepping into this game is like stepping into some sort of steampunk game. It just draws you in, bit by bit, as you learn more and more of the plot of the city. Each target you approach changes it for that much better or for that much worse. The sense of power you have over this world around you, to move around unseen, knowing that anyone can be your prey, and it's your choice that allows them to live another day. It is truly intoxicating. Do you save the city by sparing their lives, or do you eliminate them, getting them out of your way? You have to be careful though, because there's consequences towards chaos. As the rats move into the city more and more, the higher the death toll climbs. What will be left of this beautiful world when you're done? That's up to you to decide. Number 3. Halo. What can you say about Halo? No one's been able to get enough of it since it debuted on the Xbox way back in the day. The mystery of the rings, the lush environments, the lethal and implacable Covenant make for an amazingly immersive experience. Couple that with the intense gameplay and innovative AI at the time, and you just can't put this one down. Not to mention the music. Oh, that music, just hearing it triggers so many memories at this point that it's impossible to hear and not have your hands itch to pick up a controller and dive in just one more time. Couple this with a mission structure that continuously pushes you forward with an urgency, moving from one part of the world to the next, and you will easily find yourself losing hours and hours of your life to this series in no time flat, with absolutely no regrets. Number 2. Mass Effect. There's just something about Bioware games. The worlds that they bring to life are just amazing, from the characters they give us to the world that they make, and the choices they let us make within that world just draws you deeper and deeper in, because you know it's your responsibility to care for this beautiful place that they've given to you. As if that wasn't enough, the companions you get along your journey and their stories, I lost hours doing each of their stories, wondering which I would want to romance, and wondering how all this would affect the series moving forward, as each choice you made in the previous game affected what happened in the next game. This was one of the only times I saw this happen, and it made you agonize all the more over each choice, so you could set yourself up right for the next game in the series. Even though the third game washed away a lot of that ripple effect from the first two games, it's still just too impressive, and I could not have it on my list. Number 1, Bioshock. Would you kindly admit it's impossible not to admire this world? Everything about this game, and I mean everything, just pulls you in. The first time I set foot in Rapture, I was just awestruck. There was no other word for it. The deep shadows, the art decor design, and some of the areas, just the very feel of the place was enticing and foreboding at the same time. You knew you should run, but you couldn't. You were drawn in like a moth to the flame, deeper and deeper into this world beneath the sea. Unraveling its mysteries one by one, learning the true horror of what befell this utopia, this game has the complete package. I could not put this down to save my life. Hours and hours flew by and I hardly noticed till I reached the end, and then I was amazed by how my choices during the game helped me during the final climactic battle. And that twist, oh god, that twist near the end was just so good. So what do you think, guys? Did you enjoy this one? Do you want to see some more of these? Are there any of these that I missed? Are there any of these you disagree with? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.